Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Professor Smaldone here. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Stravinsky Firebird, which I have here in full score, and I'm presuming that you've listened. And we're going to start by looking at this little thing here. So this little tune, which is the same tune that goes, we can read it in the bass clef. Etc. Now notice a couple of things about it. First of all, you've got this, it's an A flat and an F flat. We're going to call it E and G sharp, right? And you've also got this over here. So you got this kind of D minor triad over here. So the tune is kind of just wandering around, and then Stravinsky puts this thing in. Look at this little thing right here. So he's got these little things right here. So he's got this is the trombones. He's got a C flat and an A flat. Well, that's just like a G sharp and a B, right? So he's got the other notes of an E major triad, and then when he switches to this, he has a B flat triad because he's got a B flat and a D natural, and that's when that comes is when the F comes in the down here. So the F and the so you get an E major triad and then a B flat major triad. Well, those are two triads that belong to the same octatonic scale. And he does something quite similar over here, where he's got the A flat and the C flat, which is again like the E flat. I'm sorry, the G sharp and the B along with the E, and then he's got a D flat and an F, which makes a D flat chord along with the D flat and the F. So he's got a D flat chord. So he's got this. It's just, when I play these chords, it just sounds like the piece. That's because he is using the octatonic scale to derive all of that information. And what I've done over here is I've made a little cheat sheet octatonic scale. Look at this. I put a little piece of Post-it on the notes that belong to the octatonic scale that Stravinsky is playing. It's the one that starts on F. He has that one chromatic note. That's the only note that doesn't have a Post-it on it, which makes it a chromatic passing tone between the E and the D. Now, if we just make our lives simple and think about this particular octatonic scale, it's 1, 2, right? And the way that, which means you could make right? We have these two minor mode tetrachords, a tritone apart, and then we also have these, right? But we also have all kinds of triads that we can find if we simply look at the keyboard now with these post-its on it, and I see there's an E major triad, there's the B flat triad, there's the D flat triad, there's a B flat triad. I have a G triad in first inversion. Why not? I have a C sharp minor triad. I have the E major. I also have the E minor. I have the G major. I also have the G minor. I'm just making sure that I play notes that have post-its on it, and look at all the chords that I can make. Now, what your assignment is to write something that uses a 3-note chord in your right hand. Excuse me, this is your left hand. A 3-note chord in your left hand and a melody in your right hand that only uses these notes. Get out some post-its, cut off the sticky part, and throw away the rest of it. You just need the sticky part, and cut it into little pieces and put it on these notes, and the 1 1 1 1 and 2 2 2 2, right? And now watch this. Uh, uh, there are two things you can do. One is you could simply do triads. There's a B flat, and if I want to go from the B flat to the, let's say, to the E major, to the C sharp minor, to the G major. How about that? What did I do? Play around with that and see what you can do. The first thing to do would be to come up with a pattern of 3 or 4 or 5 chords that you could then repeat. And once you've got that figured out, notate them in your left hand in simple triads. Stravinsky loves to notate triads in weird ways that make it really hard to tell that it's a triad, but they're triads. That's a B flat triad. Don't write it as an F and then an A sharp and a C double sharp. Just write it as a B flat triad. Then write that as an E major triad. Then you could write this, let's say, as a G major triad. That's a C sharp minor triad. That would be a D flat major triad. You could have, you can have, what else can you have? You can have a B flat minor triad. Play with it. See what you can find and write a little piece. Okay.